What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. Free agency is just about, 2 weeks away, as I'm recording this, week and a half away, something like that. We're getting close to NFL free agency, and I've been bringing you guys Steelers offseason coverage for a while now. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, I just cut a video about all the free agent positions and specific targets Pittsburgh should go after, talking about important pieces out there, cornerback, safety, O-line, D-line, especially wide receiver, potential quarterbacks for the future. I looked at positions of need and players in those positions that would be good deals and realistic possibilities for the Steelers to bring in from other teams this free agent season. Now I'm going to look at Pittsburgh's free agents. You guys seem to like these videos where I break down by position every Pittsburgh Steelers free agent on this list, and I've broken them down into 3 columns by position. Keep them, definitely re-sign them if I want to see them re-signed or think they'll get re-signed. We'll talk about those. The ones I want to re-sign, the ones I want to cut, and the ones that I'm pretty ambivalent toward. The ones that have question marks next to them for me are like guys that if we re-sign them, cool, they could be a good depth piece. I don't mind having them back for a good price if we get them for a decent amount of money. But also, if we happen to lose them, I don't mind letting them go. They're not a big loss to us, and we can upgrade somewhere else in the draft or in free agency at those positions. So keep, cut, and kind of question mark ambivalency, where I'm like, either way, it could be okay. Let's go ahead and get into them. We got 25 free agents here, so I'm going to go ahead and break it down. And we're going to start hot. We're going to go in kind of descending order, starting on offense. We're looking at quarterback first. And obviously in quarterback, there's the biggest name in Pittsburgh, the biggest kind of question mark in the Steelers free agency list this year. That's Aaron Rodgers. We are torn because a lot of us after last year just want to start over. We saw what Rodgers can kind of do already. We saw him age. We want to start fresh at quarterback. Some guys want to draft somebody. Some guys want to go with Will Howard. Some guys want to bring in Malik Willis. And some guys thought Rodgers did enough and will do enough this year to keep us afloat under his buddy McCarthy for one more season, have one more bridge year, and then draft a quarterback in the much stronger quarterback draft, supposedly, next season. So, where do I fall in the quarterback situation? If you watch my previous videos and you watch my last video about other teams' free agents, you know where I fall on this situation. I fall with letting Aaron Rodgers go in free agency, not re-signing him. I think he should be done. I think he showed his ceiling last year. I think his ceiling is that kind of 10 to 11 win first round quarterback at this point. I want to start fresh. I don't care if it means we have one losing season. I get wanting to always stay competitive. I'm not abandoning my team by saying that if we have to lose one year, then we have to lose. We lost a franchise quarterback in Big Ben, and we've gone all over the place with trying to draft Pickett, to Trubisky, to Rudolph, to Fields, to Russell Wilson, all of these guys over the course of a long period of time, and I think it's time to start fresh. Let's let Rodgers go. Let's fill the cupboard with young guys with potential ceilings that are, NFL experienced or have had some level of experience or have the progression out of the draft to be NFL quarterbacks and see what we can do there. This might be a widely unpopular opinion, but I would rather have, guys like Malik Willis and, guys like Sam Howell and guys that have had some level of game success that are younger and more athletic to pair along with guys like this year's draft pick, be it a Nussmeier or a Ty Simpson, guys like that to go along with Will Howard, to have this young quarterback nucleus, put those guys out there. If they're not doing well, put another guy out there and see what we can develop as far as chemistry and future potential under this new system for a season. I'm letting Rodgers go. The other quarterback that's a free agent on this list is Skylar Thompson. I'm ambivalent to him one way or the other. He did wind up with a really good preseason for us, looked like our best quarterback overall in preseason, really balled out and impressed us. Still young enough and athletic enough and got an arm enough that he can still do some things. So if we bring him back as our third quarterback and put him in the mix with the other guys that I mentioned before, that's fine. If we lose him, you can find a third string quarterback in most places. So I would lean more toward cut, but if we bring him back as a third string competitive quarterback for preseason, I'd be fine with that for the right price. So I'd cut him, but I'm ambivalent either way towards Skylar Thompson. He's got potential as a preseason quarterback. Running backs, we only have one, and it's one that I want to keep. It is our team MVP this year on offense, Kenneth Gainwell. a guy that I didn't really understand the signing of. I thought he was just going to be kind of a third down pass catching running back. Didn't realize he was going to have the value as an overall running back this season as far as running the ball. Even a better pass catcher than I thought. Really bailed us out, became our top receiver this year, which is a problem. But Kenneth Gainwell was overall the best player on this offense last year, and he earned himself another contract. And if we have to lose him, if he winds up pricing himself out to another team and it winds up being too high to afford for us because we already have Jaylen Warren, I'm not devastated if he goes. Jaylen Warren being our main guy, and then finally giving Caleb Johnson a chance, who had one bad special teams play last year and didn't get a chance to get on the field. I know that there's some issues about his speed or his learning the playbook. So there's some questions there. But if we have to rock with Jaylen Warren as our number one guy and our second-year player who's pretty much a rookie in Caleb Johnson as our number two guy, I'd be okay with that. But if I had my choice, I would re-sign Kenneth Gainwell as long as the contract allows us to. So I want Gainwell back, but if we have to lose him, I'm not against giving the rookie a chance to be the new backup behind Jaylen Warren, but I would want to re-sign him. Wide receivers, we've got a few here. We've got 3, and I'm re-signing 1. Calvin Austin is my guy. There are certain guys that I study in the draft, and I watch them grow up in the NFL in their young days, and I just latch on to them, and Calvin Austin's one of these guys. He's never really gotten a full chance. I mean, from guys like Russell Wilson to Aaron Rodgers saying how amazing he is and how fast and what a route runner and what a combat catcher. He's got so many skills as a slot guy who can be both an underrated combat catcher and a separation guy. We still have not seen the fullness of what Calvin Austin can do. Last year, he was a 750-yard guy? So we've seen kind of what he can do. I don't think he's suited for a number 2 outside role. I think he belongs on the inside. So you got to bring another piece in, another receiver along with DK Metcalf to play on the outside to unlock Austin's potential on the inside. But now that we have a new offensive coach and coordinator, I want to see with another quarterback what Calvin can truly do. I'm bringing him back. I know a lot of guys want us to draft 2 or 3 receivers in the draft this year. A lot of guys want us to bring in a free agent and draft somebody. I think Calvin Austin can serve as a really good number 3. If you draft a Denzel Boston or Mekhi Lemon and or bring in a Romeo Doubs or Jawan Jennings, you've got 2 outside guys. You've still got Roman Wilson who's got potential, and playing outside of Aaron Rodgers is going to help him too. Wild as that is to say, but you've got a guy with potential on the bench. You bring in a second guy on the outside. Hopefully you're going to draft Denzel Boston. That's the guy that I want. Getting off the bean here. Anyway, I'm re-signing Calvin Austin. I don't know that he will come back, but I think he should. The 2 guys I'm letting go, Scotty Miller and MVS. Scotty Miller is a fine veteran, undersized but tough receiver, can catch some balls in traffic, underrated hands for a guy that size. Good veteran guy, but he's a guy you can get anywhere. I think he had 100 or something yards last year. You can find that mostly anywhere. And he was getting too many targets at the end of the year, taking targets away from guys like Austin and Wilson. So I'm letting Scotty Miller go, and I'm getting younger at receiver. And again, if we do, I think we should bring in at least 1 free agent wide receiver and draft at least 1 high-end wide receiver and draft a later round receiver because it's a deep receiver draft. So I'm drafting 2 receivers overall, one in the first or second round and then 1 in the 6th or 7th, along with 1 high-end free agent receiver. So I'm bringing in 2 to 3 new guys here, along with Austin and DK. So we don't need a Scotty Miller. MVS was just brought in for Rodgers. He wasn't good, took up a lot of targets and didn't do much for us. So I'm letting him go happily at this point. Offensive linemen, we've got several here. Max Sharping at guard, I'd let Sharping go. He's just a practice squad depth piece guy. I'd let him go. Ryan McCollum, I have a question mark next to. Pretty ambivalent about him. He doesn't really play much and doesn't do much when he does play, but he's fine. He's definitely not a bad depth piece to have. He's a good, 8th or 9th guy on the line. He's a guy you don't want starting a ton of games, but he's a guy that can get you out of a stadium if he gets in there. So I'd re-sign him for a really cheap contract, but if somebody else wants him for more money, I wouldn't be sad to see him go and draft somebody else. It looks like a pretty good offensive line draft, so wouldn't be sad to lose him, but I'd sign him back for a cheap price because he's a good, end-of-the-line depth guy. Then we have Andrus Peat. I would re-sign Andrus Peat. He didn't play a ton last year, did come in and fill in a little bit at tackle. Veteran guy, again, he's getting older. He's not a guy you want to be like your 17-game starter, but he's proven that he can do this at an all-pro level and didn't play terribly last year when he came in. I do want to reshuffle this line a little bit, but I think Pete's a good depth piece. That being said, if some team wants him for a lot of money because he has started at an all-pro level, I wouldn't spend a lot of money on him. But if you can get him back for a decent price, when he's healthy, he's a good, like I said about McCollum being a good 8th or 9th or 10th guy, I think Pete is a good 6th or 7th guy. He's a good high-end backup. So I'd sign Pete to a contract if the price is right. The big name guy, the starter on the line that's a free agent is Isaac Seumalo. I'd bring him back on a 1-year deal. He is getting older. He is slowing down. But that being said, he's still the one kind of veteran amongst the young line, and he still plays well when he's healthy. Injuries and age now are turning into a factor, so I would not make this a long-term deal, but I would sign him back to a 1-year deal if he will take it, because I do think we need a veteran presence on that line. And I do think Seumalo is consistently good when he's in there alongside a bunch of younger guys. So I'd sign him back if the price is right. Defensive line, we've got several guys here as well. I jumped over tight end. I skipped tight end by accident. Tight ends, we have 2 free agents. My guy, Connor Hayward, much like I said about Calvin Austin, Connor Hayward's my guy. He's a do-everything guy. He's an underrated fullback. When he's in there, the running game is always better when he plays fullback. He's a guy that can run the ball on occasion, does reverses for big plays once in a while, fills in nicely as a pass-catching tight end that doesn't get used enough, has some of the better hands and route running separation in this entire group of receivers and tight ends on this team, and he does these Spartan plays where he gets the tush push now, and he's very effective on those. And he's a good special teamer. Connor Hayward can do everything. I'd bring him back. I don't know why people don't want to use him more, but I think he's a very good tight end room guy. Donald Parham, he's a guy you can let go. They signed him last year under the old regime because they wanted a 4th tight end. Then he got hurt, so they went out and traded for Jonnu Smith, who I think is our first cap casualty this year. Hopefully, don't want to see him back either, but I would cut Parham. I would rock next season with our tight end room being Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward. Let's use those 3 guys. You want to use tight ends? You got 3 capable guys who all do different stuff right there. Now on to the defense. Let's go D-line here. We got several guys. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 defensive linemen here. And this is interesting because you want to, again, continue to get younger. It is a pretty good-looking D-line class. We have 12 or 13 picks in this draft coming up. So we got plenty of opportunities. I think we're going to draft at least 1 big nose tackle that's going to join on to Harmon and Y.A. Black, our rookies from last year, plus Keanu Benton. We're going to see what's going to happen with Cam Hayward. So we have at least 3, if not 4, depending on Hayward. Guys you want to play consistently in the rotation, but you do need to add at least 1 good, big, genuine nose tackle. Whether it's draft or free agency, you want to get 1 big guy who can really fill that gap and really stuff the run and get some penetration on that D-line. That being said, you got Isaiah Loudermilk. He's the one guy I'm bringing back on this line. I'm letting go of 3, and we'll see how the one guy goes, but I'm letting go of most of them and bringing back Loudermilk. Loudermilk's a guy that I think is another kind of a big D end. He's a Cam Hayward style guy, plays like Cam to me, shines when he gets the run stuffing tackles and the batted balls. I think he's learned well from Cam. He's not a guy that you want starting all your games, but he is a year after year pretty consistently healthy, pretty productive guy for a backup lineman. I think he's a guy, he's only, 28? He's only in his 5th season. He's a guy that I'd bring back on a shorter contract. He's not going to cost you much. He's a guy that has made plays at the NFL level consistently for several years now, and he's a guy that's worthy of being on your backup D-line. He's another younger guy that you can flush in and out. Again, he can tackle in the run game, bat some balls, and get some quarterback pressures. Hasn't progressed the way I would like to be a future starter. I don't think he's Cam's replacement or anything, but I do think he's a good backup line guy. 2 guys that I'm cutting now fall in the same mold with each other, and that's Dean Lowry and Daniel Ukale. Ukale's got a big frame, which I like, but both these guys were veteran signings. 2 years ago, Lowry came from the Packers. Last year, Ukale came from the Patriots. They both were meant to be big stopgap guys who were going to be temporary starters on the other side next to Cam, and they just didn't really pan out. Lowry has been mostly hurt for 2 years and done very little for us. And Ukale came in and got a couple tackles in the run game last year, but nothing, no splash plays, no gigantic turnovers, no real big off the screen stat plays. I think you can let both these guys go I think, again, you're going to bring at least one free agent in as a plug guy, and you're going to draft one guy, plus the young core you have. I think you have to get bigger and younger. And I know Ukale's big, but I don't think that either of these two guys have justified their signing in the last 2 years. They got pushed out of the starting lineup by rookies, and guys like Y.A. Black came in and outplayed them. And honestly, I know this is unpopular too, but I think Loudermilk is a better backup D lineman than these two guys. He's more effective when he's in there. So I'd re-sign Loudermilk and cut Lowry and Ukale. The one that I have a question mark on is Zeze Otomewo. Otomewo is an older guy. I think he's like 27, 28. Not that's older in the NFL sense, but older in the sense of he's been around for a while in the NFL and not been known or seen, at least by me. I never saw or knew who he was till this year. Did come in out of nowhere, and I was like, oh God, we're going to be in trouble with all these injuries. And he made a few plays. He was one of the more effective backup linemen on our team this year, and I kind of like this guy. He's pretty effective. Again, if we lose him, you're losing a guy that can make a few plays who's pretty unknown that came out of nowhere. You can sign other guys for that. But I do think Otomewo did enough this year to earn himself a 1-year contract. So if we get a 1-year deal for cheap enough, I think he's a good rotational guy. Him and Loudermilk, I think, would be nice together. So hopefully get him back, but if we lose him, not a giant deal. Moving over to outside linebacker, there's one, Jeremiah Moon. I would let Jeremiah Moon go. At this point, you got your 4 guys that you want to rock with. One of those guys probably gets traded. They look like they are signing Herbig or just signed Herbig to a contract, which means either Watt or Highsmith goes. Herbig said he wants to be a full-time starter here, and I get why. He played amazing last year. Watt and Highsmith both are excellent, but they're always hurt. Watt has been on the decline in the last year and a half, and he's always hurt. Highsmith is really good when he's out there, but he's always hurt. So you want to rock with some younger guys. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these guys goes. For right now, I'm going to assume that all 4 of these guys are under contract this year, so there's no reason for Jeremiah Moon. So I'm cutting him. Inside linebacker, there's one, Cole Holcomb. This is an interesting one because he's still, somewhat effective when he's out there. He's fast. Seemed like he was pretty healthy this year, but he's been here for a couple of years now and done very little. He was like our leading tackler through 7 games a couple of years ago when he was healthy. Then he got hurt for the year. Missed another pretty much whole year through the offseason. Came back a little bit last year, made a few plays, but didn't play much. I have faith in the Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, and Malik Harrison 3-headed prong there at inside linebacker, and then Carson Bruner being your 4th guy, your special teams guy. So you do want maybe one more inside linebacker. Holcomb's not a bad guy to have, but at this point in his career, he's older, he's 30, he's been injured a lot. His legs have been injured a lot, which impacts his speed, which is his greatest attribute. I think you can find another guy. Again, Holcomb it's a tough cut because the guy does have a lot of value when he's healthy, but he has not been healthy, and he's getting older, so I'd let him go. Corners, we have 2. You guys aren't going to like this one. The 2 guys we have are Asante Samuel and James Pierre. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know where I'm going. I'm re-signing Asante Samuel, and I'm cutting James Pierre. People love James Pierre now and think that he's all of a sudden a number 2 guy behind JPJ. Where? Where is that from? He had a good year this year, but guess what? He had 4 or 5 years here before that he wasn't good. He was let go of his contract the first time, brought back for a 5th year after injuries, didn't play well here again, went to the Commanders for 1 year, was cut by them after 1 season because he wasn't good there, and then suddenly came back in here again after injuries and played pretty good, had a really nice season, by far the best of his career. But I don't think 1 good year out of 5 or 6 warrants you another contract here. We've seen him play enough here, and I think most guys can do what he did this year. I'm not terribly impressed by 1 really good stretch after 5 bad seasons. So I'm letting Pierre go. Asante Samuel's a guy, I know he came off a big injury, but he seemed healthy this year when he came back. Finally got out there, did get a pick in the Dolphins game. I think he's, I know he comes off an injury, but he's got pedigree. He's really physical. He knows where the ball's at. He can create turnovers. He's just one of those guys that I think plays the ball well and uses his body well. And I think if he's healthy, he's another young guy with JPJ that can be a physical outside presence. He can be your number 2 when healthy. And if he's not healthy or if he's in and out of the lineup, he can be a good backup outside corner because you're going to draft one as well. That's a top need for us in this draft. We're going to at least sign or draft another one. And we're also going to sign or draft a safety, which means that we can move down on Jalen Ramsey and make him the slot corner. So you only really need 2 outside starters. So if you've got Ramsey out there, you've got JPJ out there, And at the end of the day, Samuel can either be your two if your rookie needs to take time to come in, or your rookie is your two and Samuel is your backup. So I think Pierre needs to go and Samuel needs to come in and stay. Give him a prove-it deal. He's still limited time coming off a long-term injury, so I think he'll sign for an affordable price, and I think he's worth signing. He did enough here for me. Safeties. We have 4 safeties here that are up for contract, and that's because of the injuries we had last year. Obviously, Deshaun Elliott is our guy, and he was hurt last year. And then we traded Minka away, so everything was in flux. Then we moved up Ramsey to safety, and he was good there at times and not good there at times. And then, we signed all of these guys. We signed Chuck Clark coming into last year. We signed Jabril Peppers and put him on the practice squad. Really didn't play him much in the games. Signed Kyle Duggar, and then he was really good here for a short time, and then he kind of got benched a little bit toward the playoffs as well. So a lot of influx, a lot of safeties coming in and out. We're getting Deshaun Elliott back. He's one of our pieces. We're going to sign or draft another safety. And then there's still that Jalen Ramsey factor that he can play both as well. So you've got 2 or 3 guys there for sure, because we're definitely targeting the position in the draft. And this is a very good safety draft. It's one of the best. Safety is one of the best high-end positions in this draft. That being said, we've got Chuck Clark, Jabril Peppers, and Kyle Duggar. Now, I wouldn't be terribly mad if Duggar came back. He was the best one out of the bunch of all of the new signings that played for us, got some turnovers, did also blow some plays, wasn't always consistent, but he was way more good than bad here. That being said, I'm letting all these guys go. Again, I wouldn't be mad about Duggar, but Chuck Clark was terrible. Peppers never really got on the field and didn't get to show much, and Duggar was inconsistent. So I'm cutting all 3 of these guys. I'm rocking next year with Deshaun Elliott, Jalen Ramsey in flux, and then the rookie or signing as our new safety. I think those guys are going to make a big impact here. And then Miles Killebrew is the other safety that's up for free agency. I'm re-signing him. He is a special teams ace. He's one of the best special team players in the entire NFL. He's a guy that can block punts and kicks. He's a guy that makes a lot of tackles in special teams. He's an unsung hero for this team, and also a veteran safety that can come in and play occasionally when he has to. Not really a coverage guy.